So yeah, so what I've got is a kind of portable take on Internet of Things. So this is a blend of art and technology that comes together. And the idea is essentially that it's a smart sculpture. And I have one over here. This is our prototype we just launched this month. And what it does, essentially, it looks beautiful on its own. But what it does, it's got a Wi-Fi chip built in, and it goes out and connects to the markets. So it can track 11 different stock indexes around the world, and it can also track 4 major cryptocurrencies in real time. So what it's doing, essentially, is communicating at the same time it's become sort of a connected decor object. And so right now, it is we're actually pointing at India's Nifty 50 over here. But we can change it to see what happened, let's say, since we're at NewTech, let's look at the NASDAQ. And so I've just told it to go do that, and it's going to go update and move into position. So it does this in real time during the day, and it's a really interesting experience because generally when we put objects in our space, and people have been putting objects in their spaces to decorate pretty much since cave paintings, right? So it's something that's wired into our human nature. And generally when we put an object in the room, we expect it to be where we left it and how we left it when we leave and come back. And the interesting thing about living with this is that you leave and you come back and it's changed. And the reason it's changed is because things in the world have changed. It's the sense that when that moves, then money has moved in the world someplace. And it's the start of this company called August and Wonder that we've just launched. And there will be follow-on objects coming along. This is our debut object. It's available for pre-sales, pre-orders right now. And it's a limited edition. We're making just 300 of the Series A. There will be other series that follow. And it's really a new category of object in people's lives. And the vision really is that if we think about our tech future right now, it's a very Minority Report future. We're being interrupted, we're being surveilled. And this is kind of an alternate take. This is more Harry Potter than it is Minority Report. And the idea is that somebody could sit in their room with no phone, no screen, they're not shouting at a speaker, and yet they know what's going on in the world because the objects in their environment have all rearranged themselves to let them know. And they can be present and informed and connected at the same time. And that's what August and Wonder is about, and that's what the market is the first demonstration of. So that's my presentation. Questions?
This is probably a simple question, but how do you know which side is good, which side is bad?
Okay, so this was a big debate. The question was, how do you know if which side is good, which side is bad? So this thing is accurate up to about 10%. And we had a big question. We had to figure out whether we would follow classical seesaw physics, which says that the winning side is the downside, or kind of the cognitive of like when you go into a room and you glance at something, what's the first thing you see? And that's what you take in. And so we went with the glanceability. So when the bull is up, the market is up. When the bear is up, the market is down. And there's a great book on this called Enchanted Objects by a guy named David Rose, who was at MIT. And he really laid out all the different aspects of this. And glanceability is a big part.
So I love the visual picture of Harry Potter versus Minority Report, and I love the product. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
The problem for me is it's a little outside of my price range, right?
Sure.
And so I wonder about that glanceability of what do you envision my living room looking like? Like, I don't imagine having 10 different things for the stock market, for weather, for the pollen count, for whatever those things are. So what does August and Wonder, like what is your 3-year vision for what my living room is going to look like with Harry Potter objects?
Right, so in a sense it's a combination IoT and a decor company, so it's not going to appeal to everybody. this particular look and feel.
Sure.
So depending on what objects come next, they could be like brutalist art that you hang on your wall, and it just rearranges depending on the weather. You look up and if brutalist art isn't your thing, then there'll probably be some other decor line that we have. But it's this kind of interesting fusion of we create a look, we create a connection to something that's important to people or meaningful, and then we follow that where it leads. Yeah. Good question.
So, how scalable is this? And have you guys considered bringing it to a larger scale with some ability for teaching the user in the public who might be looking at it how to interpret it, to not only tell the message but also advertise your business?
Right. So when you're talking scale as object, not scale as business.
Right.
I get both those questions. Yeah, we could do it. The costs get a little high when you're going to make a life-size version of this and try to put it on Wall Street. But it is something that we'd love to do. So I'm actually going to start researching art grants and things like that, and use that side of the world to see if we can get something like that funded, because it'd be a great thing. You know, if you're a city, and Portland has the weather app over on Pioneer Square, so it has something like that. But I think there's room for more of that in the public space for sure. It's a good question. Way in the back.
Yeah, so right now you're showing through your app on the phone that it can look at individual markets and give us a visual cue. Can it take several markets, like you said, up to 11 markets in 4 cryptocurrency? Can it take several markets, average them out, and show us a visual cue about how all the markets are doing?
Not at this point. So we kind of did an MVP on this. So here's like the proof of concept that it can move into real time in the markets. I think the obvious next evolution is for people to be able to put in their portfolios, which is essentially the same kind of concept of we're going to amalgamate, you know, information from that aren't already set out and laid out. So yeah, it's on the roadmap. It's just it'll take time to get there. Okay, there's 2 people in the back. So first, way back, hand up first, and then baseball cap. Okay. You good?
Did you say baseball cap? Or?
I said you go first.
All right, cool.
You had your hand up first. You win.
So regarding stocks and indices and ETFs, when you look at all that stuff, there's a bunch of different types of indicators that you can actually look at. I'm curious to know what this is based on. Is it based on an algorithm that you use to kind of analyze them based on a variety of indicators, or do you use one specific?
Percent change day over day.
Percent change.
Yeah, that's the one that seems to be the sweet spot of it updates often enough. It's really straightforward to understand, and there is a numeric scale etched onto the sextant that actually indicates the numbers, so you can actually see it.
Have you thought about opening up an API or platform for artists to submit designs and artwork and content that would be able to utilize like your creative talent and then have you sell it?
Yeah. Going forward, yeah, not at this point, as we, we're just getting started. But I think, this was one source of inspiration. We're going to need lots of other sources of inspiration because I think this idea, this category, has so much opportunity into it to create lots of different objects, lots of different styles. So down the road, we'll definitely be looking into that. Was that the time duck?
That was the time duck.
Well, if you have any other questions, you can come find me. I'm here. I'm around. And thanks for listening.
Thank you so much.